back your homes, or restore your dead to life.
But perhaps I can give you justice in the name of our king.
Dragons are a game changer in both the HBO hit show Game of Thrones and the award-winning fantasy series A Song of Ice and Fire. Daenerys has 3 dragons currently flying over the Narrow Sea in their journey to Westeros, a place where dragons haven't existed for hundreds of years. While Game of Thrones may be most notably associated with its dragons, there is only 3, at least that we know of. But did you know there are potentially many more petrified dragon eggs hidden in the world? In the book series, we learn of various eggs that have been lost to the world, possibly hiding in a dark crypt or cave, or maybe even locked away in someone's castle. There's the theorized clutch of eggs hiding in the crypts of Winterfell that were said to have been laid by Vermax the dragon as told by a court jester named Mushroom. There's the dragon egg that Euron Greyjoy claimed to have thrown out to sea, yet most people believe he held on to his egg, maybe even giving it away as payment for the Faceless Men doing a job for him. There was detailing of when Targaryens ruled at Dragonstone during the days before the Doom of Valyria, and how their dragons made lairs in the caverns at the volcano on the island. It is easy to imagine a few eggs may have been laid there. And speaking of Valyria, this is where dragons originated. The monstrous devastation caused by the Doom destroyed the majority of the Valyrian Peninsula, a place where dragons once resided. Along with the probability of a few dragon eggs hiding in the dark depths of Dragonstone, it would be very fair to say that Valyria itself may have some secret petrified eggs. Illyrio Mapatis, the keeper of Daenerys and Viserys after Robert's rebellion, gave Dany 3 petrified eggs said to have come from the Shadowlands beyond Asshai. The Shadowlands being so big and unexplored that anything could be hiding there. Oh, and also the second Blackfire Rebellion, which took place at a tourney at White Walls. This tourney's first place champion was to receive a dragon egg as an award. However, the dragon egg went missing, showing yet another instance in history where dragon eggs aren't so rare. And on top of all that, I guess I should throw in the sailor reports in the Shivering Sea of ice dragons. Ice dragons are a very popular theory in the world of Ice and Fire. I'm not sure if these somewhat mythical ice dragons gave birth through eggs or reproduced through a different kind of magic, but there could always be ice dragon eggs hidden somewhere in the world. If their species is actually real, of course. So, what I just laid out should be enough evidence that Dany's 3 dragon eggs at the beginning of the series is not the only eggs left in the world, yet quite the opposite. There are more theories concerning dragons than probably anything else in the fantasy, like the 3-headed dragon theory, ice dragons, the dragon under Winterfell theory, and much more. So the question that sticks out in my mind is, how do you hatch a dragon egg if you have one? This secret has been lost to the world. There is no official step-by-step guide on how to hatch a dragon. With all these eggs hiding around and possibly a few people or families that may have locked one away for safekeeping, how does one birth a dragon? People would probably like to know, since Daenerys is publicly known now to have 3 huge fire breathers that will support her in conquering Westeros. An extra dragon could help to fight against the Targaryen armies. Just think of what Cersei or Euron would do if they had a dragon doing their bidding. The question of what it takes to hatch a dragon has been asked to the series author George R.R. Martin. In a public interview, he hesitated and said that it is a good question, and there are clues in the books, but that was all that he would be able to say on the topic. So there is clues in the books, great, just like every other unknown mystery that has clues in the books that we as fans have yet to figure out. But if we really wanted to have an idea of what it takes to hatch an egg, let's look at the one successful hatching we've seen so far. Daenerys hatching her 3 dragons, Drogon, Viserion, and Rhaegal. It was on a funeral pyre for Khal Drogo, who was already kind of dead. It involved fire, it involved blood, the blood in Drogo's body. And we know that blood magic is the most powerful magic in the world, right? It also involved a Valyrian, aka Daenerys. Oh, and the eggs, that's obvious. She also was accompanied by prophetic dreams about dragons leading up to that moment throughout her whole life. Kind of like Tyrion and kind of like Jon, as well as all the other Targaryens in history that were noted to have dragon dreams. So I definitely want to say naturally hatching dragons has to include a Valyrian descendant with dragon blood. Like, not all Valyrians have dragon blood. It didn't look like Viserys had it as to how he died, and he didn't have the dreams that Daenerys had. I also believe eggs won't just hatch based off of if you have the right ingredients. I believe the magic that disappeared from the world for so long came back when it was ready to come back, or when the time allowed for it to, giving Dany the capability of hatching dragons. For example, if I was to capture Dany as a prisoner and had an egg and maybe a human sacrifice similar to the funeral pyre hatching with Drogo's body, I doubt I could hatch a dragon. This would be a good point to say that there may be some dark magic out in the Shadow or even the Doom that could overtake the ritual of naturally birthing a dragon in a setting where you can bend the will of a dragon to your own. Kind of like the magic that is said to make up Euron's dragon horn. This statement, if true, could be a game changer because if the secret or magic got into the wrong hands, who knows what could happen. Maybe that's why there's a locked away copy of an ancient tome hidden in the Citadel referred to as Blood and Fire, or the Death of Dragons. It is a blood-soaked, soul-surviving copy of some Valyrian history book. Many people believe it details either how to birth a dragon or kill one. You be the judge. Like I said before, just being a Valyrian or having dragon dreams may not be what it takes to hatch eggs. During the tragedy of Summerhall, we learn that King Aegon Targaryen V, along with his oldest son Prince Duncan the Small and his best friend Sir Duncan the Tall, tried to hatch dragon eggs in a ritual. The ritual led to disaster, burning down Summerhall, killing the king, his son, and his best friend. There was all the main ingredients that time, and yet no dragons. But you could say that the reason it didn't work was since Aegon didn't have dragon blood, and that is why he burned to death. The last little bit I will include will be the event of the sack of Winterfell, when the Boltons set fire to the castle. Bran warged into Summer, his direwolf who was outside of the area. Through Summer's eyes, Bran saw a dragon flying overhead. The smoke and ash clouded his eyes, and in the sky he saw a great winged snake whose roar was a river of flame. He bared his teeth, but then the snake was gone. Can this be a new dragon alive flying over Winterfell, where there was fire, there was blood, and there was death? Could it just be a vision that Bran had of the symbolism referencing Jon Snow, or maybe just of his own powers peeking through as a warning to seek the weirwood tree for a message from Bloodraven? It could also be the bleeding star flying in the sky, burning up through the atmosphere. The interesting thing here is that I don't think the burning of Winterfell could hatch a dragon egg laid by Vermax in the crypts and then be able to fly away and breathe fire. When Dany's dragons were first born, they could only puff smoke. This would have to be a dragon that was hatched before the fire, which leads me to believe that it was more of a symbolism thing than that of a real dragon. The last thing I will mention is that the secret to hatching dragons remains a secret for a reason, most likely to reveal in future text from Martin himself. It seems plausible this information is coming out in clues from the books because there will eventually be some sort of epic reveal that has a substantial effect on the storyline. One thing that entices me is the house words of Targaryens, fire and blood. Reverse those words and you have the title that people refer to as the ancient blood-soaked tome about dragons that could be so dangerous for public viewing that maesters have locked it away, most likely to keep magic out of the world. What is so important about fire and blood? Is it quite possibly the condensed process of hatching dragon eggs that was adopted as the House Targaryen words so that every Targaryen would have access to effectively birth dragons? This is why they put it as their house slogan. Without dragons, Targaryens have no power. We see it in the beginning of the series, when dragons are gone from the world. Dragon Lords were the predators of everyone else, because nothing could match them in strength. Maybe fire and blood became the family motto because every Targaryen needed to know what it takes to conquer. Throughout history, Targaryens were given dragon eggs at birth that even rested with them in their cradle. The family knew that dragons were their source for strength and dominance, and regardless of what happened, every true Targaryen with dragon blood would never lose the secret to their power. Let me know what you think in the comments. I want to thank Geek Fuel for sponsoring the channel this week. They have hooked the Last Harpy's fans up with an officially licensed Game of Thrones bonus item in their October mystery box, along with an exclusive Game of Thrones product only available from Geek Fuel itself. If you want to get your box for this month, check out my special link in the description. As always, have a great day, take care, and I will see you tomorrow.